up, friends? Back at you again for another tip of the day. This is a continuation of the composition and rule of thirds video. I have heard your cries. I want to hear more. Can you please explain a little bit? Alright, fine. If you don't want to look it up yourself, here's a little bit for you. So if we look on our screen here again, the rule of thirds, compose shots at the points of interest align with an imaginary grid that divides the image into thirds vertically and horizontally. You can see it right here. These are the intersection points. These are the horizontal lines. These are the vertical lines. So in essence, you want your points of interest to line up with these intersection points and also line up with these lines, to coincide with these lines. So our friend, colleague, and mentor, DK, has graciously given me several images to show you in actual practice what it looks like. So first of all, I'm going to go to an image you probably recognize. This is the Mona Lisa. You can see that the painting is virtually technically perfect in almost every way. So here we have our regular grid. You can see it in the mix of all that jumble. Then we have other intersection lines coming down this way, and you can see then for the center portrait line down this way that her eye is perfectly in the intersection point of not only the diagonal but then the vertical. Then you have her two shoulder areas right here at this main intersection point, right off that top line. Down here then we have her two elbows, have her hands right here following in these intersection points. This is considered a classically perfect painting because of the composition. So we're going to jump to some real world practice, show you what DK has done. So this first shot, when you're doing landscapes, we're going to talk about that real quick. Landscapes, when the emphasis of the shot is going to be the foreground, you want the horizon line across that top horizontal line. Here it is right here. You can see that the horizon is at the top horizontal line. That's where your horizon goes when you want the foreground to be of interest. Here we have a shot of a boat, little boy fishing, and we have a horizon line. So we've got a few more complex scenario thing happening here. We've got the horizon line, the top grid, and he kept it to where the boy still was going to be a point of interest, yet the boat was still going to be in this vertical line right off the horizon, right here in this horizontal line. So you can even see down here at the bottom the way the foreground ends. It comes in right here at this intersection point. So the diagonals he got, the horizontals he got. So if it's a little bit off, it's okay. It's only when it's off by a lot. So this was well done. Point of interest, your eye goes right to it. Point of interest, eye right to it. Horizontal. It was a good shot by DK. So if you wanted to then, on the flip side, have to where the sky is the interest, you want the horizon to be on the lower thirds horizontal line. The lower thirds horizontal line. So let's see what that looks like. Boom, nailed it perfect. Could not have gotten it any better. Not only that, but he's got the sun right here at this intersection point. Right there. So when the sky is the focus, the bottom horizontal line, and then he even got the sun in that nice little intersection point there, that lower left intersection point. Here we have a cityscape. So here we have another sky interest. So there's other rules that go into play. There's triangles, S-curves, zigzags. All of that are also compositional line rules. So something that you'll need to study and look into. Let's see how DK did on this one. And boom, look at that. Bottom horizontal line, perfect. But then if you also follow this triangle right here with these two other diagonal intersections, he's fit the main point of interest within the city of Tampa here, right in that triangle. So moving on. Okay, now we're getting into some where you're combining sky and foreground and objects. And so the first thing I can see right off the bat is he's got out of this corner, comes diagonally right in through here. Somewhere right in here should be that top horizontal line, somewhere in this area. So we have the tree line, which comes down like this as a diagonal. We've got another diagonal coming up like this. They're meeting right in here somewhere. But then we also have a canoe. I'm guessing by the talent DK has, this line comes through here, meets with this line comes through here, meets with this, and I'm betting this canoe is in an intersection point. Let's check it out. Look at that. Diagonal to here, diagonal to here, vertical, horizontal, right there on the canoe. The point of interest. So another good shot by DK. So here we go into animals. Other objects in a shot. You can see that the trees, first thing I noticed right off the bat is the trees kind of have where the vertical lines would be. You know, we kind of have from this lower horizontal kind of swoops down just a little bit to this end. So let's see where he's at. Diagonal. Got point of interest right there at that top intersection point. That vertical line right there, nailed it. Diagonal, nailed it. These trees over here, even right there along that line. These trees back here along this line. And that's a tough one. These, you know, animals move, things move. So well done. And not to mention, you know, very faintly you can see from this corner all the way up to this area, we've got that fence. So he pulled a good one on us there. So moving train, real difficult. Got to compose that way before the shot. So let's see how he did. Look at that. Look at that. There's the grid pattern, bridge, train, all the points of interest covered. But then as the train fades off into the distance, follows a great horizontal center line. The diagonals all meet right here at the train, the point of interest. The verticals, the one at the top, the one at the bottom, one on the side, all comes in and leads you right to that train. Let's get into some people shots. So this works for portraits, vertical, horizontal, family shots, you name it. So here we have a couple different combinations. We have, looks like a boat, maybe a fisherman out there, maternity shot, and the sky, as well as the foreground. The horizon kind of gets jumbled a little bit right here, so he's got some room to fudge. You didn't have to necessarily stick with that. It kind of gets fudged up a little bit. But the point still is the subject. Still getting the fisherman, tough shot, that water's moving, that boat's moving, and let's see what he did. Vertical line, straight down the subject, perfect intersection point right here at the boat, just a tad off that lower horizontal line, but it still keeps everybody in composure. It still looks great. So good job, DK. Let's go to the next people shot. Looks like we have a business portrait. So got a cityscape or landscape behind us. Kind of have a contrast and lighting difference between here. So we have a natural divide somewhere here, probably in that center line area. We've got a lower thirds line right in here with this railing, so that kind of cuts the frame as well. She's off center just slightly to the left. So let's see how he did. Point of interest, hand, nailed it. Right there at the arm, the elbow. Here's the shoulder, the eyes right there along those intersection lines. Here's the top, the green. Here's the top right here of this horizontal line. Looks like he got that too. Intersection right here at the wrist. Well done. Okay, here's a horizontal example. Looks like a Christmas glamour portrait or a winter glamour portrait. So subject is facing out, looking back into it. Let's see how he did. Nice triangle composition, goes right through the eye, comes back down, follows the hair, comes along the bottom of the image, back up again. Our horizontal lines intersect perfectly on the cheekbone and the eyeball, and then the vertical line here comes through the eye as well. Okay, here's a vertical, kind of a fashion off color. You can see right now, I can tell right off the bat, we have S curves right here with the body. and we have triangles with the arm. And then if you bring all these back together, we've got a triangle coming right back to the face. So elbow to elbow, back up to the face. The viewer looks at the eyes first usually. It'll follow down to the arm leads you back to the body, the other arm then leads you right back to the eyes. So it's this continuous circle right back to the point of interest. So good posing on that one. Let's see how I fared. Intersection, lead lines, lines back up to the face, straight down vertical, straight down vertical. Here's another one, an outdoor portrait. We got natural vertical lines. We've got direction of light. Let's see how he did. So elbow and arm, right around the eye. Here's that middle cutoff line. Looks like that's right there in the center, center vertical or center horizontal. All the intersections right there around the wrist area. The other intersection right here on her body. Back up here to her elbow, up to her eye. Comes all right back down to her leg and her feet. Here's another fashion shot. We have a downed plane in the back. He's balanced out the model off to the right. We have kind of a break right here. This would almost be the horizon line right here. Even though there's the sky, this would actually be the line. So let's see where it goes. We have lead lines coming down this way from up in this corner. So somewhere in here is where that first intersection line is going to be. Lead line comes back to the subject. This angle comes back to the subject. So let's take a look. Here we go. Right at the ankle, right at the wrist. This intersection comes back at the airplane. And 2 or 3 of these intersection points come back right at the model's face. Good shot. So there you have it. There's some examples. Rule of thirds, composition, using lead lines, using horizontal rules, vertical rules, diagonal rules, triangles, S-curves. It's all right there. DK is a master, so he's got it down, I'd say. So anyway, there's your examples. There's what it's supposed to look like. That's what can be done. So I hope you found the second video here informative. I hope it answered the questions that you had. Thanks for joining. Tip of the day. Catch you next time.